Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the We Have Issue podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about Greenland and the issue that's going on with Greenland right now in the U.S. and actually the whole world. And Donald Trump's opinion and idea and how it's shaping the global world right now. And I am Carvell.
I'm Chris.
And I'm Matt.
Thank you for joining We Have Issues podcast. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and if you like this content or you want to see more of it, please share it and let us know what you think. Leave a comment. Thank you. Mm-hmm. Well, as in the last few weeks, we've seen a buildup on this Greenland and the U.S. opinion headed by Donald Trump on how we've seen Greenland as it should be particularly part of the 51st state in the U.S. And so right now, Greenland is going through a transition politically in how they ought to perceive the U.S. and their potential threat. Donald Trump has mentioned that he would like to have Greenland because it's a security measure. Greenland it's in a position where we want to make sure it stays away from China and Russia. But Greenland and Denmark says, hey, actually, Greenland is part of Denmark and the U.S. You can bring whatever military you want to bring here because that's the rule that's already been preset, but you cannot take Greenland as your own state. And so this is what's going on right now inside of our world right now, and Donald Trump is the one that is heading it for the U.S. and kind of coming up with his idea, and MAGA Republicans are following his idea. But the question is, how do most Americans feel about this?
It's kind of ridiculous. Denmark was one of the very few countries who went to Iraq with us. Like, they are not just an ally, they're like a super ally. And to betray them like this is absolutely poor judgment at best, and, almost evil at worst. Like, America has a history of screwing over Greenland. We purchased the U.S. Virgin Islands at the beginning of the century under much similar sorts of justification under Woodrow Wilson. The Danes eventually sold it to us. I do not know if it is likely for the Danish government to sell us Greenland, nor do I think it's really necessary. I mean, we have, under our treaties we have with Denmark, we are able to put military bases anywhere we want on Greenland. We are able to send American companies to extract mineral resources and everything from Greenland. The reasons why we would need it don't really exist. We're kind of working on this hypothetical that Denmark may at some point in the future choose to give the same sorts of deals to countries like Russia and China, but that's not a real immediate concern. Like I said, Denmark's one of our super allies. They've, been the most supportive of NATO and that alliance, and to throw away that alliance, I don't see how that benefits America's future political international aims.
I think you got a pretty good point. But to play a little devil's advocate, just kind of question you guys on it. We've seen recently, I think it was before 2019, that the Chinese, they tried to invest in airports, invest in mining, invest in infrastructure. We know a lot of the way China fights wars, not exactly how the West fights it, because we know that sometimes the Chinese, they try to buy the world. And this is sometimes what they try to do. This is what we've seen what they try to do in Greenland as far as creating an infrastructure, creating mining, airports. The U.S. had to block it in a sense and tell them, no, hey, Denmark, you got to let the Chinese not invest in here. But there are still, even though Denmark gives Donald Trump and the U.S. a lot of leeway of what they can do in Greenland, it still takes time, and there's still a process. But if we make Greenland the 51st state, if we make Greenland a state that, hey, you know what? We can do whatever we want to, when we want to, how we want to, and the citizens are protected, and this gives us the world more security, then why should that be a bad thing?
That's kind of what has been the crux of this. It's kind of, for a lot of Americans, this whole thing seems like it just was pulled out of the ether. And there's kind of the conspiracy theory, for the lack of a better term, that this is Donald Trump going after the resources of Greenland. And I do believe that is part of it. I think it would fall on deaf ears to say that that's not part of the issue. But this goes back like almost to Civil War times of Greenland being strategic for American defense. Like you mentioned, Carvell, the Chinese have already been messing around in Greenland. CCCC tried to build modernized airports. They had some mining company, I can't remember, but they tried to buy an abandoned naval base there. So China's already there. It is a pass-through for Russian ships. The GIUK Gap has a lot of subs that come in and out of there. So we know Russia uses this kind of as the shortest path to the United States. If you ever had intercontinental ballistic missiles launched, they'd be coming over Greenland. So as far as economic-wise, I think that would be China's interest. As far as military-wise, that's more of a Russian interest. So it makes perfect sense that the U.S. wants to have Greenland under control. This is kind of Trump's modus operandi. He says the quiet part out loud. And like I said, this is something that Americans are not really aware of, but this is a conversation that has gone on behind the scenes for a long time. There's a lot of politicians and people who are not just brilliant strategists in Washington that kind of turn their nose up at the idea of acquiring Greenland as U.S. territory. But then again, they did the same thing with Louisiana Purchase. They did the same thing with the purchase of Alaska. So it's kind of short-sighted. Trump's a businessman. He knows how to strategize. He's looking to play long ball here. Do I think that Trump is going to use military force to take Greenland? I don't think so. I think that's more of his peacocking, and it's kind of that meet in the middle. Like, we're going to have control in Greenland, but we're not going to force it. And I think Venezuela kind of tied into all of that. I think Trump timed this the way he did to kind of have people on edge from the Venezuela, kidnapping Maduro from there. So I think that's kind of part of his strategy here, is to talk tough. But like you guys said, Chris, I mean, Denmark is a very great ally. We don't want to piss them off. I think what Trump is most concerned with is Greenland is already on its way to independence. And this is a nation of 57,000 people. If they truly become independent of Denmark, it's going to be open for influence from outsiders. And I think Trump's just trying to jump the gun here and keep out Russia and keep out China and kind of a preemptive strike and their influence in Greenland.
I don't think it's just peacocking. I think that there is a legitimate threat of use of military force just because of how easy it would be. Like, Europe could not stop us from taking Greenland. If we took the third largest military base in the U.S. and sent them over, we could have a soldier with a gun pointed at every single civilian there. Like, there's no resistance. Several European countries have sent one soldier apiece there. I think the Germans were generous and sent 13. Right. Like, I mean, and now I know a lot of that is America wouldn't just be attacking Denmark. They would be attacking several European nations because their troops would be being attacked. Like, I get why they're doing that. It is more than just symbolic, but there's no way. Like, NATO runs based on the U.S. If NATO collapsed, collapsed. That's really a doomsday scenario if NATO collapses, though. I do not want that scenario to occur.
No, I don't think Trump has taken it off the table at all. But I mean, it's Monroe Doctrine 101. You know, Greenland is near North America. It's part of North American continent. So I don't think it. I'm not saying that it's above him to do it. I just think if he had his rathers, that's not how he would
I also don't see how likelihood Greenland independence is either. I know there is a movement in there, but there's also a movement for independence in Puerto Rico. And just like Puerto Rico, Greenland requires those subsidies from the Danish state to support itself. So I think they are much more satisfied with autonomy rather than independence, where they have self-determination over their own country in Denmark and don't have to hold their own military, do their own international alliances and things like that. I think the will of the people of Greenland is to remain with Denmark. The Prime Minister of Greenland, Jens Frederik Nielsen, he recently came out and unequivocally said Greenland wants to be with Denmark, not with America. And the executive statements to the contrary, I think, are kind of lies. I really think they're just making things up.
I've watched videos where people have interviewed Greenlanders, and it seems to be the majority of the opinion is they want to be free. If they have an option, they'll go Denmark, which, I mean, who could blame them? Like, I mean, I think they got like free education in Greenland and good health care. So you probably don't want to side with the U.S. But there are people who would be interested in having the U.S. there. So I don't know. It's tough to say. I think it's over sensationalized from both sides. I think, like, the Democrats are saying nobody wants the U.S. there. That's not true. And then you have the Republicans who say all Greenlanders want to be part of the U.S. Well, that's not true either.
Here's the issue with the whole idea of purchasing Greenland. It's not at all that we actually offered to purchase Greenland, because this is actually not the first time we did it, right?
46.
Yeah, in 1946 we lowballed them for $100 million, right? So it would definitely have to be a lot more now.
To be fair, during World War II, it's not like we haven't occupied Greenland before. During World War II, we occupied both Greenland and Iceland to prevent Germany from having a foothold in America.
Yeah, I mean,
the same kind of thought process applies, right? With Russia, like, we don't want Russia to have a foothold into America. We don't want China to have a foothold in America.
No, and I mean, you definitely don't. I mean, one of the things that I've heard was the rare earth metals, and Greenland could have a lot of rare earth metals that China possesses. I think 85%, 90% of all rare earth metals that you need nowadays, especially when you're making batteries, these new technology batteries. But one of the issues right now is not that the U.S. offered to buy Greenland. That is not the issue that most Americans have. And I could say that, and probably most Europeans have. It's how you ask, right? It's the audacity of your request. And when I say it like
Carvell,
that,
it's like you go to your best friend's house and you walk up to him and you go, "Hey, I want to buy your car, and if you don't let me buy your car, I'm just going to steal it."
No, but to one up it, it's like you go to your friend's house after stealing another friend's car. You go to your best friend's house, and say, "Hey, if you don't give me this land, or if you don't give me this car, I'm going to steal it." Right. It's like, well, I'm supposed to take you serious because, like, you've done this before,
right.
And it's the way he communicates with people that it's not warm, it's not compassionate, it's not friendly. We're supposed to be friends, right? And then you're talking over me and you're saying all this this bad crap about me and you're forcing your hand, that doesn't feel like friendship. It feels like I'm a puppet, and you tell me to bark, I bark. You telling me to roll over, I roll over. That's the relationship we have.
It's one thing. It'd be one thing if Denmark was looking to sell, right? France was looking to sell Louisiana, and Jefferson took that opportunity for the benefit of the country. That's like going to your friend's house and your friend goes, "Hey, I got this clunker I can't upkeep. You want it?"
Yeah, I mean, and it's the same thing about when you think about the purchase of Alaska, right? It's the same concept, right? It's like, we buy Alaska. I don't know if how broke Russia was, but they were trying to sell it.
Russia sold it because it was Britain was just going to take it over otherwise, so they could get money out of it. Which is what Trump is kind of doing. Trump keeps threatening that he's going to take it. Eventually, they're going to have to come to the realization of, we can't defend it. They're offering money. They're going to take it if we don't take. Like, it's extortion. We're extorting Denmark.
It really is. It is, and that's typically not how the American way should work. This is why
it's absolutely not how the American way should work.
And this is why American people are pissed off, right? We go to our neighbor in Canada. We're not pissed that he wants to put tariff. Like, presidents have been putting tariffs on other countries forever. It's how we just blatantly disrespect people and then slap them with a tariff, and we don't quite understand why we're causing war with these people, other than the fact that maybe we want more oil, maybe we want more rare earth metals, maybe we want greed, maybe we want to assert our dominance. I don't know what it is, but as Americans, how we grew up and how we're taught, this is uncomfortable to us. We talk a lot about how the deportation with Obama and Trump, and a lot of it's about like how it's being done. Like with ICE, it's like how it's being done. It's not that people are not upset that others are getting deported. They're just upset as how it's getting done. It's the whole delivery. It's the audacity of how we're approaching things, and it's not the American way. It's not the American soul. It's not the American heart. We pride ourselves in being a country of help. We pride ourselves in being a country of love. We pride ourselves in being a country of what the world should be aspired to be like, and that's just a human being.
Yeah, but this is kind of, to play the devil's advocate on this. This is a result of years of America. America likes to do things shady, backdoorsy. I mean, we'll send certain alphabet agencies into other countries, and all of a sudden there's a leader that has been disposed, and there's a new government we don't really know anything about that's in place. That's how we going to
kidnap the president or the prime minister of Denmark?
Or Greenland. I don't know. But that's what I'm saying. So this is, I would say it's much better for us to say, here's your options, here's what we intend to do, and let's play ball. And I mean, honestly, it makes more sense. So like you were saying earlier, Chris, Greenland is having to be subsidized. If they do achieve independence, somebody's got to take care of Greenland. At least in this scenario, you're back at North America where you belong. I mean, the people of Greenland, the natives, have ties to North America. It's back in our possession. We have the tools, we have the defense, we have the economy that can make Greenland prosperous. Because what concerns me is China especially has their eye on them. That's why they've been building icebreaker ships. China has no Arctic coast that they share, but they're building icebreaker ships. You've got the ice that's starting to melt on Greenland, and as that happens, there's going to be more mining and extraction possibilities happen. Somebody's going to get that stuff. It's 57,000 people on that island. Denmark, their military is not going to be able to stave off any kind of force. Somebody's coming for these resources.
Well, okay, but Denmark, but that's why NATO exists, presumably, because Denmark isn't supposed to defend it by itself. Denmark is supposed to have the entire force of NATO to defend Greenland for it.
And the U.S. does have permanent bases on there.
We have
the U.S. military. Honestly, you don't need more than one base for 56,000 people, if I'm being honest, right? I mean, do you?
It depends if Russia and China team up to come after it. I mean, and like you're saying, ideally, yes, that is the purpose of NATO, but NATO is kind of a mess, and who knows? Like, NATO may see it as if we go against the United States, it dissolves NATO anyway. So they may it may be kind of funny how NATO would play into that. I'm just saying it would be the U.S., not that we're just bastions of natural conservation, but we will handle the extraction better. We're the shiniest of the turds and across the world is what I'm trying to say, is we'll handle the extraction of those natural resources better than anybody else is going to. That's where it's headed. That's what it's going to come to.
So let me ask you guys that. Let me ask you guys this. Is there a better solution if it's all about the minerals, if it's all about kind of what we can extract from Greenland? Do you think there is a better solution other than making Greenland the 51st state?
Sure, a compact of free association. That would basically give Greenland their independence. They could have a spot at the UN even, and America, U.S. becomes in charge of their defense, and we stimulate their economy.
I just don't know why we need to do that when NATO already exists with NATO's protections under treaty. I just don't see why.
Because we want 100% undeniable control of it.
But then we're an imperialist, expansionist nation who throws their allies under the bus.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like that's been happening for the last year. Right?
I mean, if that's the sort of
or the last for a while, it's been happening for a while.
I mean, what has NATO done for us up to this point? And
they sent troops to Iraq to help us with our military expeditions.
Yeah, and they allow us to put nukes in their own countries that they don't even have the codes for.
Yeah, like they do a lot of stuff for us.
They allow us to provide them military protection as well.
That's
okay.
That's
if
on
we go
us,
to war
right?
with China, if we go to war with China or Russia, not all those nukes are going to be coming from the U.S.
Not
and
all.
We're able to use their territory.
We're able to use the territory, which they would want us to do anyways if China went into some kind of imperial.
Well, they would probably
expansion.
not want to even enter the war. They would probably be like, you know what? I'll let you juggernauts figure this out. But hey,
all right. But I do think that this is getting serious because Randy Fine just this past week put the Greenland Annexation and Statehood Act. He put it as a proposed law that he wants to pass in Congress. I don't think that law is going to pass Congress, but
no.
I would be curious to. I don't even know if it's going to get out of committee. I don't think this will be voted on. But I do think that people will be talking about it to show their allegiance to Trump and his foreign policy vision in an attempt to tie themselves to his cult of personality for their own votes. And I think it's a poor showing by our politicians to even propose such a thing against one of our allies.
No, you're 100%. I think it's all illusion. It's just all illusion. But yeah, leave it to Florida man to come up with some bullshit. But I agree with you. It's dead in the water. There's no point in it. He threatened the military. Like, what good is this going to do?
What do you guys think that the party's position on this issue is?
Oh, this is easy, simple. What the hell is Donald Trump doing or saying?
I mean, that's basically every response to the American Solidarity Party.
They definitely don't like this. They'll definitely choose their friend over the friend's material, right?
However,
they'll choose their friend over the friend's car, Yeah.
So, however, though, I think it's important to point out this isn't necessarily a policy issue. Usually with Trump, ASP is malaligned on policy. Like you were saying earlier, Carvell, this is just about how he asked. I don't think the party would have had a problem with it if there was an offer on the table and the military wasn't involved.
I do. I think the party would have an issue with trying to request an offer, basically. Now, if Denmark was on the open market with Greenland, for whatever reason, I don't even know why they would, but if it was on the open market, if there was an interest to sell, then I could see the party maybe considering this as an option. But to just kind of, hey, I'll give you all this money so that we can take part of your country. That does not seem like something that the ASP would support as in general. I think it violates subsidiarity. It violates the self-determination of the people of Greenland. And to me, those kind of don't align with the ASP's values.
I think it actually, Chris, like, just to rebuttal on what I said, I think it actually has everything to do with how you ask. I mean, like, I think about some past presidents and how, in the public's eyes, how they were viewed and just how they would go about certain situations. You talk about a subject and you say, hey, the people of Greenland are very beautiful people. They're really great people, and there is a interest within the U.S. So, because there's an interest in the U.S., I'm going to see if Greenland will be willing to consider an opportunity to join the U.S. See, the way I communicate that sounds much different from, you know what, these guys are going to be part of the U.S. either one way, and I'm going to make it easy or make it hard. It just sounds completely different. So, like, just butter me up before you're going to tell me you're going to screw me, Well,
it's the plumber, or the contractor, I don't personally do this, but some contractors will go to the house. They're like, oh man, this shower is built wrong. We're going to tear this whole house down. I'm lucky I caught it now. That's what Trump's a salesman, and that's the tactic that he's chose to go with. Doesn't make it right, doesn't make it wrong. Personally, Carvell, I would rather have sent you as ambassador to Greenland than Donald Trump, or didn't Vance go? Didn't him and his wife go? For what?
Vance is the Timu of Trump. He's a Timu Trump. He doesn't even Mark Rubio can I could believe this guy, even though I don't like if he was the president, I'd be like, man, this guy, he's smart, but do we really need to do this? But Vance, all he does is just copy what Trump does or says, and just does it much worse.
Let's say that it comes to pass that America does acquire Greenland. Would the ASP be hypocritical in getting involved in Greenland after, let's say, Greenland is annexed and achieves statehood or something like that, to set up, ASP chapters there, just to basically accept the de facto situation that Greenland now happens to be part of America? If we as a party were against the acquisition, would it be hypocritical to, I guess, take advantage if we did acquire it, in your eyes?
No, I mean, because here's how you could see that working out. If we don't have a presence there, we don't increase our reach, we don't increase our capabilities. I mean, there could be a point with Hawaii. I've always said this: if I were to run as president, that would be something that I would run on, is returning Hawaiian independence. And so with the ASP, if we can get Greenland on board, we get into power, maybe we undo the whole deal eventually.
Kind of goes back to the point that I was talking about the entire time. It's just how it was communicated, right? So if our party had the opportunity, the same exact opportunity to offer to get Greenland, well, then why not? I'm not saying we should do it. I'm not saying that we shouldn't do it. All I'm saying is, if it is an American interest, you can ask, but have etiquettes when you do it. Have a certain, this is your friend, Greenland, NATO, You know, Denmark, they're supposed to be our friends.
Yeah, you'd be like, hey, Denmark, I know you're not really looking to sell your car, but I kind of really like it. Can we make a negotiation, you know?
Yeah, there we go. You know?
Let me ride in the front seat.
But that also comes with respectfully, this is my dream car. I've been doing a lot of work on it. I'd like to keep it for myself. And then we should have the respect to our friend, to our ally, to go, all right, and not let this hit the media, and not let this, you know, hit open channels.
But even then, you could still work something out. Okay, this is your car. This is your dream car. Can I ride it every, you know,
can I just
couple weekends?
Can I use that? Can I just
let me get some minerals out of it. You know,
with it being Trump, it's more like, okay, it's your car, but I'm going to smoke in it.
Right. So, and you know, that's diplomacy, right? This is the reason why, like, since World War II until now, there hasn't been a lot of, like, there's been wars, obviously, but there hasn't been, like, world wars, like mass amounts of people dying. Why? Because that's when diplomacy it started to become at its best. We started to communicate, and there was a way we communicated to each other, and that's what stops wars, right? But this BS that's happening right now, it's causing people to be on edge. Now you got people from NATO countries sending, you know, not many, but sending soldiers to Greenland. You know, obviously they would be done in like 2 seconds, but, you know, against other NATO countries, that doesn't make any sense. That's because we're missing diplomacy, and that's the biggest issue we have. He's a great negotiator. Yes, Donald Trump is, but I don't know what his administration is teaching him. They gotta, you know, we need some diplomacy. I don't know what's going on. Thank you guys for joining the We Have Issues podcast. Please do not forget to like or subscribe if you like this content and you want to see more content like this. Please leave a message, share, and just let us know what you're thinking. Maybe you can even give us our next topic if you would like. But thank you for joining. My name is Carvell.
I'm Chris.
I'm Matt.
Thank you for joining We Have Issues podcast.